All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 293. Okay, so for today's daily update, there are once again no updates on the anticipated appeal. Still don't even have a case number. And there is still one sponsored block type available in the Shopify Store. Last video was published a week ago now, and today I continued working on the next video. Alright, and today we will continue with work on the terminal block mining simulation game. Okay, last night oh yeah, I should uncomment that. So last night, I did some work. The current arc of development is now focused around some multiplayer support, and I'm currently adding the ability to connect to start the game with no connections to any worlds, and then allow you to, after you've started the game, manually connect to a local world. And then I'll also add in the remote one as well. And last night, that almost works, but there was a race condition with how the map area thread is starting up, and I was getting a null pointer exception. So tonight I'm going to change some of the event requesting. I'm going to add a data structure to block threads. So if the other thread tries to request information, it's not available, it'll block the thread. Google AI account 1 says first. Hello, how's it going? Real Dream Chaser says hi. What time is now where you live? It is currently 21:56, 21:57. Okay, so this will touch a bunch of stuff. So I think I'll uncomment some stuff here. Okay, so that should run normally. And Multbook? I'm not sure what that is. I'm trying to think if I heard that phrase at some point. That's not expected. Actually, maybe it is. Okay, that works. Anyone else see his cat girls video? Which video is that? The first one on your YouTube channel. The first one on this channel. I think that the first ones I did was like a Raspberry Pi camera on this channel. Lord of Linux. Is that my title now? Or referring to another Lord of Linux? Most recent video? Cat girls video. Oh, okay. I guess there's some cat girls, real life cat girls in the video, and some of the AI images. How many lobsters will be involved today? That's a very good question. I'm going to say it's approximately 0 lobsters will be involved today. Or except maybe, is that a pun about like Rust programming? You want to call it My People Have Suffered? Oh yeah. I get there's some girls with cat ear headphones. Create a basic Arch installation tutorial. I haven't used Arch the last time I used Arch was 12 years ago. Harley Speed Thrust says W. I heard the original code for Doom. Doom 2 got the calculation for pi wrong. Nobody noticed. The game still compiled and ran. How do you feel about that? I've heard that pi to like, I don't know, 5 digits or something is accurate enough. Or I don't remember the number, but it's a number of digits, but it's like to 5 digits or 10 digits is accurate enough to describe a circle around the entire observable universe and only be wrong by a few feet. So I guess that kind of makes sense. guess it depends how wrong their calculation was. Try to ask him if he would film himself reading binary for an ASMR video. Reading binary. That would get boring. I could just I could narrate the 1 and the 0 and then just write some code to automate it. You can go way off in Pi. It's called non-Euclidean gaming. I guess depends how off it is and what you're using the Pi value for. I guess I haven't programmed a lot of 3D graphics code before, so I don't know how that would impact the gaming. I think that may not be true. I work on CAD software. If our Pi constant was accurate to only 5 digits, a lot of stuff would break. I can't remember where I heard that quote, but I don't know. I never actually did the calculation manually. Not Doom though. Anyone else misses filming outdoors video series? Oh, you want more live streaming in the woods? I guess I could do more of those. I don't know. It takes time to go out and do that, and it doesn't. The return on investment is very questionable. I prefer to get work done. It was a fun series to test out the tech, just to see how what kind of bit rate you can get and stuff. I was kind of disappointed that I wasn't able to plug my DSLR camera via USB adapter into the phone and stream it. That would have been cool, because then I could have used like really good lenses, like wide aperture lenses, and I could get like really good. I could like a live stream, like basically near night vision on it. I could like turn up the ISO and stuff. That'd be kind of fun, interesting. Sherbet out loud says IWAE. I don't know what that means. Have you driven in Brampton before? I have not. I think I've heard that it's not a good place to drive though. Have you ever coded using an old CRT monitor? When I first started, that was the only thing to use back in the day. What are you currently doing? And how will this help you dominate? Currently, I'm working on the terminal block mining game. So this is part of the revenue generation model. I'm going to sell sponsored block types in the game. You can there's only one remaining at the moment in the Shopify Store. You can check it out. What do you think about people testing code using animations? What do you think about people testing code using animations? I don't know what you mean by that question. No, it's a game where you simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore and other minerals. So actually, once it compiles here in a second, I can demo it. So you wander around an infinite universe, and you spam the M key to mine blocks. So there's some iron ore down there. You press the M key, and then it shows up in your inventory. Do you think we were entering a gold rush where entrepreneurship will overtake the market? Entering an AI gold rush where entrepreneurship will overtake the market? I'm not sure what's going to happen next. we actually kind of seem like we almost seem like we're in a fragile time where if the people who have all the power and the money decide to, and they're probably going to try, like we might actually see a decrease in entrepreneurship. But then there's like people are not happy about the status quo, so like there's going to be lots of pushback. And I don't know, there's with all the news and scandals and stuff coming out, I think there's stuff that's going to happen in the near future that hasn't happened in like 100 years. And then we've got AI going crazy, and it's really hard to say. There's so many things that are going on at once. It's hard to even keep track of it all. Go, little guy, go. All right, I guess, am I the little guy in this case? I still don't know what you mean by people testing code using animations. Infinite is like Binding of Isaac, procedural generation. Yeah, it's uses like a Perlin noise function to generate the terrain. Or actually not Perlin, it's a variation of Perlin. Using like the SHA hash function. I think they're trying to wipe out the poor. Yeah, it kind of just seems like that. It kind of seems like the way society's going is like, if you're vulnerable, the powers that in the government, anyone is in a position of power is just trying to like get rid of weak and vulnerable people, take their assets. Wealth inequality is out of control. Yeah, it's the capital is concentrated enough that it's yeah, I don't know. I think there's going to be like, I think that the capital cycle is also going to work its way through. Like for example, my landlord bought this building, and his business model was rent evict all the tenants, and then immediately raise the rent, like double the rent. But that business model, I think, is breaking down. Like it's the ROI of doing that today is not the same as it was in 2023. And I think at some point, like a lot of the private equity stuff is all very it's very profitable, but it's very destructive for society. And you can only destroy so many systems in society until it just becomes like not financially viable. It's like if your business model consists of buying houses and then you just burn it down for the insurance money and like steal the copper wire out of it, and like just, you're basically just stripping the value off of assets. Eventually, like that's a very profitable business model until there's no more houses to buy and that are cheap, and then your business model of destroying things stops working. So that I think that's going to happen, and there's also going to be there's an accumulating pushback from people. People feel like they're being robbed, and people are dropping out of the workforce and getting stressed out and sick, and eventually, yeah, if people stop being productive, then the stock market's going to go down. I guess it can go up if the currency gets devalued. Stock market has to go to zero. It probably won't go to zero. It's actually, I think it's more likely that the stock market will continue to go up. But what is actually happening, like I think when years ago when Iran's currency basically went to zero, their stock market went to infinity. Because if the value of money, if inflation goes crazy, what happens is the stock market goes up like crazy. And that's kind of the one store of value that a country has is when they're really doing bad, they just print tons of money, And you can do that until you totally destroy the value of your currency. Probably end up concentrate. Yeah, I'm not, it's hard to talk and code at the same time. Hope so. Hey, people are getting sick of these kinds of abuses. Yeah, it's, I think people are also becoming wiser to them. I think there's a number of effects that are going to make it easier to like exploit and take advantage of people. But I don't know, it also depends. If society, like if we do have some like big economic depression or something, then we also could have a number of people who are like in a position where they can't afford to fight back. Creating value versus stripping value. Yep, the new meta is stripping value. Iran's currency equals 1 divided by regulated US dollar minus US dollar value. I guess I don't know what to interpret from that formula. Just finished your housing crisis video. The way your brain works tickles me. Oh, is that which one? I have a few different ones on housing. Is it the shorts video about how to solve the housing crisis? Yeah, I figured that if it was that one, I just think of it like the first principles. Like, what if we all just went in the woods and built houses? What's like your theoretical maximum rate of housing production? Shorts video, that's good. Yeah, it'd be nice if I'd like to see that one actually go viral and get some views, but I can't control which ones actually get views. People just like listening to you talk. That's good. You have to stream through the Great Depression 2.0. I guess that'll be the new economy. When I have a social media-based economy where everyone just reacts to news on the internet all day. Some say we're in a Weimar-like era. Yeah, I don't know. It's people also like there's lots of stuff you can point to say maybe this time is different and things are going to collapse and stuff. But at the same time, like the things go through cycles, and when things are going up, everyone just extrapolates based on what's happening now. Like if you remember back at the COVID era, when like tax salaries doubled and housing prices went up, and the government was printing money and stuff like crazy. During that era, people thought like, wow, this is going to keep going forever. And companies overinvest in all that stuff. And now that things are bad, people are kind of like, people are using like linear extrapolation when the graph is actually like sinusoidal. So there may be some point where like the people controlling the economy may be like, okay, we're going to flip a switch now. Let's turn on the money printers again. And then suddenly everyone's like, wow, turns out all the doomsdayer people were wrong. I'm going to just buy the market. It's going to go up forever. If you're intelligent enough to understand what their job is, DOI, NG, they don't have a job. If he dumb and follows instruction, he gets the job. That is why many white people have job. if you're intelligent enough, unfortunately I'm not intelligent enough to parse that comment. Imagine the kidnapper of Nancy Goodfreeze is with us in the chat. That'd be pretty weird. You probably want to, for all the FBI agents out there who are listening right now, probably want to, check into things. Check the list of people watching the channel. I live in Oakland, next to the second largest economy in the U.S., San Francisco. I think about stuff like this constantly. Yeah, I lived in Santa Clara for a bit. For half the term I was in San Jose and then Santa Clara. It's an interesting area to visit. We have to seize the means of production. Yeah. China maxing. We could do chainsaw maxing. If you watched my video about getting a chainsaw, just cut down trees and build houses. My information about code is outdated, and I'm left using old machines for help. Yeah, everything is changing constantly. You constantly have to learn new things to keep up. All I do is trying to funnel funds from San Francisco and Berkeley to Oakland to help homeless housing and food access. Okay, are you involved in like some of the programs to help out with homelessness down there? Huge problem pointed out. Everyone thinking the graph is linear. Everything is sinusoidal. Yeah, I've also I had an insight, like from years of watching the market and stuff, and also just knowing how professional, like Goldman Sachs and professional traders and stuff work, and that whole economy. I think there's also like a forced sinusoidalness, where if you just think about, let's say, you're a trader in the market, and nothing is happening. So like there's no wars, there's no crazy events going on. Everything's boring, and the price of wheat is known, the price of iron is known. Everything's predictable. There's a steady rate coming out of mines. Everything's known for years in the future. So the price of everything is basically flat. Your ability to make money and to trade and to be a market maker is limited. But if you can induce, if you can like convince retail traders that something crazy might happen, like there might be a crack in this mine, in this iron mine, so iron might become scarce, or wheat. There's like, it rained, and rain is not good for the wheat, so that might make wheat go up. And if you could just like take any news at all and ramp it one way or another, and ramp it into like, this is the apocalypse, or like this is we're gonna make tons of money, you can basically induce liquidity. You can pull liquidity into the market to become the counterparty that you can trade against. And that basically just effectively it ends up becoming a wealth transfer from anyone who's taken that trade based on like, fear or whatever. It's just like anything you see on the news cycle about the talking heads. And I don't even think they care about, I don't even think the traders care about like what these people are saying. Like when a stock opens up and it goes way up or way down, there's always people on the news who will try to explain why it went up or down. And I think a lot of times they have no idea, but also the traders don't even care. They just want something that causes retail traders to act, because then they can they can see the order book, and they have way more complete information. So it just gives them someone to take money from. And then that exists not just for stocks, but even for houses. Like they convinced all these people to buy houses, and now there's a bunch of people losing. They're coming up for renewal, even though they've made all their payments, being forced to sell because they can't refinance, so they're being forced to sell the laws. So now they just lost $200,000. Where does that $200K go? It goes to the counterparty of whoever took that trade. I think the short will go up in views. Last time I saw a video of yours in my feed was your video sharing your financial situation. That one did really, really good. Yeah, it'd be nice. I try to focus on software stuff, but the housing thing is so important, and you can't write code if you don't have a house. So I'm gonna call it important enough to be related. I coordinate community gardens in the Bay, create food distribution networks, as well as land back movements. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've heard there's San Francisco is like that area. California is ground zero for the kind of. There's a whole homeless industrial complex, bureaucracy, and tons of money that disappears and stuff. You probably have lots of insight on that. Sample and hold noise. Volatility is where money is made. Yep, that's why they like anything that when there's a storm. It's like whenever there's a snowstorm, they'll spam all kinds of stuff about like, oh man, you better go to Walmart and buy everything. Now Walmart gets to make a bunch of money on that. Let the human code? Oh yeah. Class. Any reason you prefer VI over other editors? I guess VI is just a symlink to Vim, so I guess the other choices are Emacs. I never really learned Emacs. I tried it a bit, and I just didn't. It didn't really seem like worth learning for me. There's the key combinations and stuff. I prefer terminal-based editors because I can use them over SSH, and I also prefer the VI Vim because it's so old, and it's like it comes pre-installed, and it's just general. I like to just learn something once and then stick to it. I do actually use, so when I'm debugging, I actually, when I first started this series, I did start trying to train myself to use IntelliJ a bit more, but I kind of got away from that, and right now I only use it for debugging. There are some cases where it's kind of indispensable to just start something up in the debugger and breakpoint debug. We talked about music about a year ago. I recommended Caravan Place. Ever check them out? I think the song Maniac is the most complex thing I've ever heard. I don't think I did. I have too many random. I'm only half paying attention to chat, and people will recommend stuff to me, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'll check that out, and then I. Sometimes if it's near the end of the stream, I will remember more. But no, I haven't checked them out. Caravan Palace. All right, I'll try to remember that just to look it up. So when I wake that thread up, I need the ID, but I don't remember if the ID is in the state class. I don't think it is. Beatophone. Also mind-blowing. Caravan Palace. Hopefully I'll remember it. Singer sings about his love for a slow drag. The beat reflects that. Or remaining both in and out of time almost. Well, I always try to check out new music just in case it's something that I really like. It was tough to think through. This is not a perfect implementation because the way it works, if the update is null, then it actually will unblock and send the null object. But this might be good enough for now. bro, what's up? Can you rate me, and only me, software that will predict a winning trade every time at every major stock exchange in the world? Thanks again. Actually, I did see, you can search for it on Twitter. I saw someone who claimed that they wrote a tool that it searched for known wallets that were betting on Polymarket that had statistically impossible win rates, implying like they had insider information or something. And I thought, that's actually pretty interesting. So that too. Yeah, it's that's one of the things where if it is real, like first of all, if you went to the work doing that, you found that, why would you not just like trade on it yourself and just print money for a while? If it is real and someone talked about it on Twitter, that doesn't work anymore because maybe it'll work for 1 week. Like it only works until, like if it can actually print money, how many programmers are there who are capable of doing that? It's one of those things where it's just, someone who's more equipped to like get there faster. Like I don't know anything about Polymarket or the blockchains involved, and when I see stuff like that, I'm like, that's interesting. But I think if you succeed in that area, the whole game is like, you've got to be constantly on top of checking for things like that all the time. And like you can find something like that, it works for a couple months, maybe you make a ton of money. But I don't know, I've never really dug deep into pursuing those things just because I don't have enough resources. If I had like teams of programmers, maybe I could hire them to chase some of this stuff, but it also could be just like there's a ton of people out there who just like make up stuff like that, and they're like, hey, if you give me $20, I'll give you I'll tell you how it works, I'll give you the source code, and then they just scam you. The rat race continues. Yep. No arbitrage principle. Good luck. Thanks for taking the time. Yeah, sorry I don't have any better money printing things, but that's the best I can come up with. Giordani says, hello there. How's it going? If you give me $20, I'll send you a keylogger. Ooh, wow. That's a pretty good bargain. Oh, jeez. What do you mean my money has been wired to Dubai? Yep. That's what'll happen. All right, let's hope this works. Oh, nice, a deadlock. Interesting. Don't trust random people on the internet, especially if they don't talk about if they talk about printing money. Yeah, I mean there are cases where like I remember seeing there was a Hacker News thread I saw where someone posted on, I think on Hacker News, said like mining. There used to be like 10 million different altcoins you could mine. You could just run like an AWS instance, and someone posted like mining whatever coin is profitable on an AWS instance right now. And so that's a pretty like you could easily verify if that's true or not without having to compensate that person. So there's probably like a period where that was true for like 5 hours, and if you knew how to set that up in 5 hours, you could just like, if you had a script laying around to launch 500 AWS instances for those 5 hours, and you knew how to talk the protocol and stuff, but there's a learning curve to learning that stuff, and that's where the arbitrage is. What is this stuff you're doing here, man? Looks like Matrix. It's pretty smart. This is software development of a terminal-based video game, which I guess I can demo in a second if I can get it compiling. Let's change these to false, and I can probably demo it for you if I haven't totally broken it. Okay, it's working. So here's the demo. So it's a terminal-based video game where you can simulate the process of mining these blocks of iron ore here. So you spam the M key, and then you mine them, and they show up in your inventory here. And then close that window. And then you can open a crafting menu, and then you can also craft some stone pickaxes. And now I can use those to mine out to a larger radius. So now I'm mining some more wood. And that is the basic game loop. And it's on the to-do list to add more block types. Right now you can't really do much with most of the block types. But eventually, I have like a fairly generic recipe system now, so I just need to add more recipes. How are you doing? I'm doing well tonight. Okay, that was the key thing that was causing the whole reason I did all this work. So now this should not crash. Sounds amazing? Yes, it is. Interesting. Maybe there's a bug in my unblocking code. How long did it take you to write that? What's the end goal? A couple of years, I guess, part-time. What's the end goal? The goal is to derive revenue. I didn't realize you were still doing this. Yep, still doing it. That should work, but it's not. This is behind the scenes of early RuneScape. How the mechanics work? Yeah, I don't know if that's ambitious to say it'll be that big, but one can only hope. If I can just get this whole world domination thing under control, then the game should start to take off. So this is adding, this blocks the thread, which is what I want. Your lines are wrapping. That doesn't bother you? Wrapping your screen? Yes, it is. It does look pretty unsightly. Normally, I code on a bigger monitor. I guess I don't really. Interesting. I would expect an exception there. So that means it's not sending the message it's supposed to. Yeah, it is pretty unsightly, but I guess I don't really. I guess I stare at it enough that I just don't really even see it. So the fact that this exception did not fire means it's not getting here. I would use the debugger, but it takes so long to start it up on this computer. And if I can get this to work, then that'll be a good accomplishment for this stream. Okay, so it is never getting to that point. Interesting. I guess I should probably put this up here, because otherwise it could miss events. What would be the hardest you want to implement? The hardest thing I want hardest thing I want to implement? I don't know. There's lots of things that are hard to implement. Things are more like, there's a different question between like hard and tedious. There's things that are easy that take thousands of hours, and those are the hardest. Okay, what do I do now? Why do identifiers often end up really long in Java? Why do Python they're shorter? Well, they can be whatever. They can be as long as you want. I guess I probably also write long identifiers in Python as well. I can never remember what stuff does, so I try to make them descriptive. Can I figure this out without a debugger? Okay, so the thread is blocking. That's what it's supposed to do. Thought it had to do with coding style. I noticed Java's often pretty abstract. Yeah, I guess you could probably correlate it to like the fact that Java's more strongly typed than Python. And like for Java, you need an interface for everything, so you need to you have to distinguish between the implementation class and the interface class. So that's one more thing. Whereas in Python, you might just have the implementation, name it one thing. Now, what will this do? I farted and landed on this channel. That's kind of inexplicable. I don't know how those two things are related. Hurt. Well, thank you. Okay, so it's never getting a player position update. Interesting. I think I'll probably hit the linter. Do you use LLMs for coding, for research, or planning, or anything? as of now, I have not actually sat down and spent any amount of time using them. It's on my to-do list. It's very high on my to-do list. I keep telling people want to know my opinion on LLM coding every stream, but it's just been hasn't been that top priority thing. I have tried in the past. I tried a few times to like find a reliable plugin that works, and every time I researched them, everyone just said they're all terrible. So I was like, you know what? I won't waste my time. I'll wait a few months until there's like LLM plugins that actually work. That is very interesting. Oh, I might know why. Oh yes, I think it's because I need to call the start running client method. I farted and landed on a priest. I asked him if it counted as baptism. He did not answer. Well, I'm not surprised. He was probably very angry at you. AAA. Thanks for that interesting information. What? What indeed? If you want more context, you can read the previous chats for this deeply insightful conversation. Okay, I think that was the thing blocking. It wasn't starting the client. I made it so you have to explicitly tell the client do a connection, and then that triggers the first batch of network requests. Your sins are forgiven. Now you shall subscribe. Thank you. Interesting. I would have expected this to work now. Why doesn't this work now? Tried, and I think research, planning, drafts, brainstorming is one thing. Generating a product like code, a novel, homework is a different thing. Requires more accuracy, maybe more. Oh, you mean for large language models? Yeah, actually building a product is a lot of work, especially because you can't let the technical debt accumulate. Okay, I may just leave it there for tonight. I thought I could almost get this working. Yeah, we'll just leave it there for tonight. There's something. Let me think. Yeah, it should be starting up the client. The first thing it does when it starts the client, it sends a request to get the dictionary of pointers to information. The map area thread is trying to request to the client model what is the player's position. And now it is properly waiting until there's a value available instead of just getting null. But for some reason, that thread is not getting unblocked because the actual player position never comes through. Robert, have you tried vibe coding with Cloud yet? I have not, but it's high up on the to-do list. Anyway, that'll be it for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night for day 294. Have a good night.